mapped some pitches with a timbre that we synthesized using phasers, and so it should be. So those are our notes for the second layer, and so when we performance, we're envisioning that the user, performer, artist switches between the two layers and looping when necessary to create like a backbeat or a foundation layer.
So these two buttons switch between the modes, and then the direction pad, the up and down buttons of the direction pad, shift the octave of. We have a really wide range, so if she wanted to, she could play. And then this back sets a loop. So hold it down to record, let go, it plays back, you can play over it. And then to cancel it out, record it empty space.
So
yeah.
we have, for example, if you go switch back to this.
Pitch bending.
Call this wee grotto.
If you hold the A button, it listens for it, and then it's by acceleration.
So basically, we are taking the average of the x, y, z values that is being reported by the controller.
Yeah.
And because we found problems trying to report just one of the axes, that wouldn't really work. So we thought, I mean, the overall movement is what you do with your hand, and the average gets reported to the beagleboard, I mean the patch, and then that is multiplied with the coefficient, and that changes the pitch. So we found it was most effective to actually take the average of the x, y, z values, and then try to pitch bend based on that. Yeah. So
Some of the things, a lot of what I think we learned in designing this is the importance of keeping your early implementation simple, because we had pretty grandiose plans.
Originally envisioned
like four
like
different
layers
modes,
of sound, and then now we're realizing that 2 is actually a lot to
a full
handle
loop
already.
pedal functionality, and like not only would that be a lot to keep track of while you were trying to like keep track of your body and where everything was, but it wouldn't sound good given like the size of the samples that we have. So that too.
we actually spent a lot of time trying to design the sound that comes out of it, because we were constantly reminded of Mark's comment that it should be leggy. Alright, so Mark said leggy. So I hope this was leggy.
This is sufficiently leggy.
Yeah. So we did a lot of research on the sound synthesis. I mean, we spent more than 50% of our time just to get those phasers at the end. And we found that this was the most appropriate sound that could really sound leggy. Yeah, so.
Well, we wanted something that would be big and rich, and at the same time a little bit, kind of inspired by like the tradition of electronic music, and so that's how we ended up with our final timbre.
Playing with it is really fun.
Yes.
Performing's kind of hard.
And yeah, we realized while practicing that like this would actually be really cool, but we'd need more time.
Practicing was significantly easier than performing.
Yeah. That's true.
Yes. Yeah,
Questions?
so we actually have haptic feedback on the remote. So when you do the pitch bend, you actually feel the vibration.
Yeah.
And the LED lights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun to do. We did this both on Mac and Linux, and unfortunately, it's not the same implementation of both systems.
But it works on both.
Yeah, it does.
What was the most challenging aspect of this project?
Porting it from Mac to Linux.
Oh,
and
okay.
Trying to make it work.
I mean, I think getting the sound was pretty
Also,
frustrating
yeah.
too. I think
As
we
I
went
said,
through
we
probably
spent a
like
lot of time
5 or
trying
6
to.
different sounds before we found one that we all were satisfied with.
Yeah, but finally, what we came back to was 3 phases.
Yeah, 3 phases.
With
3
if
phases.
you actually play it for a long time, you can feel the beating.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
frequency difference of 1
Yeah.
hertz. That's it.
Other questions?
How's the latency compare on the Mac versus the Beagleboard in playing it?
We had to decrease sampling rate as we discussed yesterday. So it's almost the same. Yeah, but if I try to probably change the sampling rate of what's default in Beagleboard, it might probably take time to report the data from this to that. But then in Mac, it was good.
So it was faster on the tab.
Yeah, and we had 44,100 sampling
It
rates.
seems like that would make it easier to play. It seems like you can see the latency when you're playing it.
Right.
So how does the Wiimote talk to the kit?
Mac
Took a
versions.
while.
Well, I was just gonna
Yeah,
point out
yeah,
the
so
Bluetooth dongle on
In the
it.
Beagleboard, yeah, we have a dongle connected to one of the USB ports, and then we spent several hours trying to install drivers for the Bluetooth, and then there's a package which we have to install to get the
It's called
data
seaweed.
from- sorry?
Seaweed.
Oh yeah, seaweed, yes, seaweed, yeah. So that package has to be installed with several other packages, and then finally install the drivers with Bluetooth dongle. Run the patch, so it should work. But then we actually spent a lot of time trying to figure out because it was not working initially, and then we realized it was just a matter of permissions. So we had to do sudo something, and then it started working. In fact, this also requires permissions. I mean, this small HID device, though it looks big, it's not very important, maybe.
What's the little black box there? Is that the,
Yeah, it's just a
That's where all
So
the
circuit box. Yeah,
yeah. So
Or
there's a
the
censor
pad.
sheet underneath,
Yeah.
and that's where the
so you bought someone
We
else's?
bought it.
or-
We bought a
or-
dance pad.
yeah.
Really?
It's a
You
commercial
didn't
dance
build
pad.
your own?
No,
that you get. No, we didn't.
Francesco donated his old dance pad.
Yeah.
So
We covered it. We covered it partially because this is just a lot more aesthetically appealing, but also because it had a lot of symbols on it that didn't make sense because it was for a game.
Stay cool.
Arrows don't mean anything in this context.
Well, it really looks homemade.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks so
I'm
yeah.
impressed. I was
Yeah,
a little
so,
nervous that you would step on one of those brackets,
yeah.
Yeah.
But
especially with socks on.
yeah.
Have you done that?
No,
Not yet.
actually no one has.
No
done
holes
that.
in
We
it?
were worried about that too, but actually it hasn't.
Yeah, we actually searched for this kind of a product
Yeah.
on the internet, and there's actually no dance pad that produces music.
Yeah. So that's
So
why
all
we
the dance
like,
pads
have to
basically try to match what
match
it's like Guitar
arrows
Hero.
to arrows on a screen, and it's silence, and so
Either you win
that's
or
why
lose or you get some points.
all that movement should be mapped to some music. So.
I think it'd be cool to have a smartphone or an iPhone as a controller. You could have a songbook.
I'm pretty
mode
sure we can use
to
it.
tell
Yeah,
people like
I
where
actually-
to step next and do kind of complicated stuff.
yeah,
Like a
yeah.
kind of Guitar Hero for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like exercises as well.
So
We have
Thank you.
one more question.
One
more question.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you very much.